Kenilworth Dump, the last roundup for lumpy old mattresses. Yesterday's newspaper, empty beer cans, and old refrigerators that won't refridge anymore. The end of the line. If you were searching for the perfect adjective to describe America, you might consider rich, practical, active, self-sufficient, skilled, successful, materialistic. But this could go on all day. What is the best word to describe America? Perhaps it is affluent. Yes, America is affluent. Affluent means to flow abundantly, and we do. Our gross national product amounts to about $750 billion a year, $750 billion. Most of this, $500 billion, is spent for consumer items. Of course, aggregate affluence doesn't mean much to someone who lives in Appalachia or an urban ghetto. One home out of 14 in America still doesn't have running water. 1 in 10 doesn't have a flush toilet, a bathtub, or a shower, or for that matter, regular refuse collection service. But this is a future market for American industry. Also, our industrial outlook is improved each year as 4 million American ladies cooperate by becoming pregnant. With such enthusiastic support, America is certain to hit the $1 trillion gross national product mark before we know it. Much of our highly touted gross national product quickly works its way through the system and ends up on the city dump. Every year, Americans throw away 165 million tons of refuse. Some of it is well disposed of. A tiny amount is composted into a useful material. A few modern incinerators, which burn at proper temperatures and are equipped with air pollution control devices, dispose of some of it. And much is buried inoffensively in professionally operated sanitary landfills. But the majority of that 165 million tons of garbage and junk ends up as a public nuisance, scattered here and there around the countryside, burned in antiquated incinerators which belch smoke into the atmosphere, heaped aimlessly in open dumps which feed and breed rats, flies, and cockroaches, or half buried in mismanaged refuse fills. But our particular dump takes the booby prize. Kenilworth is located in Washington, D.C., one of the world's most beautiful cities. Every afternoon, a man lights a match and sets fire to the day's accumulation. A monstrous cloud of smoke, fumes, and fly ash mushrooms over the city. Nearby at the Capitol building, congressmen sometimes look at the man-made clouds and make angry speeches, usually neglecting to recall that Congress itself has traditionally trimmed the District of Columbia budget, which should have financed a better system years ago. These are the mungo hunters, as they're called by specialists in solid waste management. Originally, a mungo hunter was a scavenger who looked for scraps of wool waste in the garment industry. But here, mungo hunters, young and old, ferret around looking for anything of value or interest. How did the city get in this fix? The present emergency evolved quite naturally. Washington area population has increased dramatically. The amount of refuse per capita has increased substantially. and the Department of Sanitary Engineering budget has been consistently inadequate. In 1932, the city built 2 incinerators. World War II multiplied trash production, and the city was swamped. In 1942, the District of Columbia requested permission from the National Park Service, which owns this land at Kenilworth, to conduct a temporary burning and landfill operation here. Later, a 3rd and 4th incinerator were built. But at all times, the city has continued to generate refuse faster than it has built incinerator capacity. Today, Washington's increasingly difficult air pollution problem has stimulated so much notoriety and controversy about open burning at Kenilworth that a more acceptable system must be devised. The current program calls for converting Kenilworth into an exemplary sanitary landfill and the construction of incinerator number 5, which, unlike the other 4, will be a model of how to incinerate trash without polluting the air. Salvage of valuable metal may be part of any good solid waste program, but not at the disposal site, where it often interferes with the efficiency of the disposal operation. With the aid of money from the Public Health Service, the Kenilworth dump will soon be converted into a model sanitary landfill. Already, the District of Columbia government has renegotiated its agreement with the National Park Service to change the ultimate land contours and thus gain added capacity. A consulting engineering firm is developing a detailed design of landfilling procedures, and an experienced private contractor will be engaged to operate the landfill. The most detrimental aspect of this festering dump is not the air pollution or even the rats and flies and other health hazards involved. It's the impact on the nearby residents. The smells and the filth and the personal hazard involved can soon convert any neighborhood into a slum. Lunch at the dump. It takes people and equipment even to run this unattractive nuisance. Add a bit more money, devise a carefully thought out plan, and what was an inferior operation can be converted into an excellent one. But problems always seem to grow. Today, the Washington metropolitan area produces nearly 2 million tons of refuse a year. But in 1980, we'll have to burn, bury, or pile up 3.5 million tons. And if you plan to stick around until the year 2000, what would you do with 6 million tons a year? Obviously, the long-range answer is an interstate regional authority, tying together the central city and its suburbs in one common solution. The moment has come. It's afternoon, and the piles are growing higher. Every day, 6 days a week, 600 tons of refuse is burned at Kenilworth. The purpose is to reduce the volume 75 to 80%. The inadvertent result is the creation of air pollution. Carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, oxides of nitrogen, sulfur dioxide, and particulate matter. A specialist from the U.S. Public Health Service recently testified before a Senate committee saying, "We estimate that the Kenilworth dump puts out about 20 tons of 17 types of pollution in a day." Burning of trash and garbage at Kenilworth and in the district's 4 archaic incinerators spews into the atmosphere every year nearly 25,000 tons of pollution. Although the degree of combustion is probably higher than takes place in existing Washington incinerators, it is quite incomplete. We're cooking our wastes instead of incinerating them. The result is a huge quantity of ashes and half-burned material, which still must be disposed of somewhere. And there are the other pollutions from the dump: water pollution, fly pollution, and olfactory pollution. In other words, it stinks. Air pollution is ugly, but more important, it can kill you. Doctors connect it with emphysema, chronic bronchitis and asthma, even the common cold and lung cancer. Photochemical smog causes eye, nose, and throat irritation. In addition, air pollution obscures visibility, attacks materials and kills plants. Nationally, the cost has been assessed at $12 billion a year. Refuse burning creates less air pollution than automobiles, industry, and power plants, but contributes significantly nevertheless. The burning Kenilworth dump is, in some respects, merely a medium for shifting a portion of the solid waste burden of the District of Columbia and some outlying areas from the land into the air as pollution. Incidentally, you may wonder why somebody doesn't just take the match away from the man who sets fire to Kenilworth every day. The Department of Sanitary Engineering has two alternatives, both bad. Either set the fire or get buried in a massive heap of cast-offs. How does that line go? My laundry is whiter than yours. Burning dumps cause air pollution problems in about 25% of the urban communities in the country. They are the most frequently reported cause of localized air pollution problems. Today and tomorrow in the same picture. Today's cloud of smoke from the dump in the background. And tomorrow's reclaimed parkland, which will look like this golf course when completed. At the recent hearings, senators heard these comments. The darkening air mocks us. We need somehow to achieve a fundamental change of attitude, a whole new point of view toward the situation. We must realize that clean air, and for that matter, clean water, and all the other benefits of the natural world belong to everyone, and that nobody has a right to destroy them. Tomorrow, this land might have what could be termed butility, both beauty and usefulness. As the sun slowly sinks into the morass at Kenilworth, something strange has happened. Somebody has called the fire department. Probably some old grouch. What a mixed-up world. The Department of Sanitary Engineering sets the fires, and the fire department tries to put them out. The citizens complain about the smell and smoke. Meanwhile, complain about high taxes. But this day at the dump is certain to have a happy ending. Shortly, the fires at Kenilworth will be extinguished for good. And ultimately, it will be possible to prove that good housekeeping is good business.